Hey everybody, sorry for this situation. I was wanting to film this intro with my desk tripod, but it's currently not allowing me to adjust it right now, so that's really great. So I'm holding my camera in front of my face. But I wanted to film a quick intro to this video. It's a little bit different than any video I've done before in that it's a collab. Me and my pal Marissa are known. We decided to collab because she wanted to talk about, and I also wanted to talk about, Honey Boo Boo of Toddlers and Tiaras fame, saying in an interview and on other media platforms that she's wanting to have weight loss surgery. Honey Boo Boo is only 16, and so she wanted to talk about it from the standpoint, or Marissa wanted to talk about it from the standpoint that she is a registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer. She's actually going to be my registered dietitian starting next month, so I'm really excited about that. And I wanted to talk about it just from the angle of having had weight loss surgery before. And yeah, it was a really fun conversation. I think you guys will really enjoy it. Be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down below because I'm sure you're gonna have them. And yeah, I will talk to you in the next one. I just wanted to film a quick intro here. My arm's starting to hurt from holding this camera because it's really heavy. And yes, I hope you enjoy. Like I said, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and all of Marissa's contact information will be down below as well. All right, I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Enjoy. Hello.
Hello.
So I'm Megan. Obviously, my audience knows that. I'd have zero credentials, but you have a lot of credentials. So sound off. Introduce us to you, please.
I would consider it a lot. I am still going for more because I will never be satisfied. But My name is Marissa. I am a certified personal trainer. I've been a CPT since 2020, and I more recently became a registered dietitian. So I graduated college. I did the unpaid internship. I passed the exam on the first try, which was crazy. And now I am taking clients and doing the whole dietitian thing. So that's my life.
That's awesome. And I found you, well, rather you found me via my fat acceptance video. You made a TikTok about me because you have a very big TikTok following. And then you interviewed me on your channel like 2 years ago. And here we are, and you're on my channel, which is crazy.
Yeah, that was a good recap. It's been a long time since that first video.
Yeah, I know. It was like 2020 because it was like right after all that craziness happened, and I was like getting used to the boom that my channel was having. So yeah, I know. But yeah, so you had reached out to me, and I'd actually like briefly saw like things about this online, and I was like, I should make a video about that, and then I just never did. And so, but then you reached out to me and you were like, yo, Honey Boo Boo, she wants weight loss surgery and she thinks it's the easy way out. I have thoughts. I know you have thoughts, so we should discuss our thoughts together. And so that's what we've come together to do on this Wednesday evening. Honey Boo Boo wants weight loss surgery, and she's 16. But the thing is, she doesn't know if she wants weight loss surgery. She just knows it's like a thing that she should do, which I think is a really interesting take on it as well. Why did you reach out to me? What are you thinking?
Well, because when I saw it was just like in passing, it was probably on Facebook. I get all of my articles.
I think I saw it on Facebook too. Yeah.
Because everyone shares things there for like hot topics. And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Megan should do a video on this. It's something that I thought I feel like you could speak on better and be more articulate than I could on my own. So like kind of putting our brains together to talk about this, I feel like we could get more valuable.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the more alarming things is that she thinks it's like the easy way out. And she's like she's straight up said that like in an interview that I found. So I'm gonna open this up and share my screen because I just want to like show this to show that we're not like making it up, because I had originally seen it in like news articles and I thought that maybe it was like the
You're
articles like
saying.
over exaggerating or like putting words in her mouth and whatever. But no, she like straight up says this. So I'm going to share my screen. I don't know how this works. Okay, we figured it out. Yay. Okay. Zoom. So I was saying before I remembered that I wasn't recording anymore, that it is kind of alarming because I'm pretty sure she's shorter than I am and like was shorter is shorter than I ever was. She looks as big, if not bigger than I was when I was at like my highest weight, which was 315 pounds. For people who are new here, I have had weight loss surgery. I always say this in every video now because I'm getting so many new viewers and they're like, why are you talking about this? I've had weight loss surgery. I had weight loss surgery in 2018. My highest weight was 215 pounds. No, 315 pounds. And I've lost like roughly 100 pounds. Now we're sitting at like 85-ish, but we're working to not be there anymore. Yes. So I've had weight loss surgery. I've lost about 85 to 100 pounds ish. And I had to go through the whole thing. And I was like 21, 22 years old when I started the whole thing. And Alana Honey Boo Boo is 16. So yeah. So this is her talking about the weight loss surgery.
A lot of changes going on in your life.
Yeah.
I also understand that you are going to be undergoing a physical transformation. So is it true that you're going to undergo a weight loss surgery end of August?
It's still
Oh, I will say that the surgical procedure that she was looking at was called a suture sculpt endoscopic sleeve. So I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and it's really similar to what I had. It's just less invasive. It sounds like they like just stitch up the stomach with sutures, and they don't actually remove anything.
So
I
it's
could
not
be-
permanent.
I think it is. I have a Mayo Clinic thing on here that I'm going to look at like after we talk about this, but after we watch this. But yeah, it's really similar to what I had. It's just not as surgical is what I'm gathering. So
Gotcha.
yeah, okay.
in the works. Like, there is a story that come out, and it's not 100% yet. Dodo, I think she had just had it done, and I just want to make sure that, like, this is actually something I want to do before I just go and do it. I want to make sure that it's, like, not something that's, like, gonna kill me or nothing, and I just want to make sure it's something I actually want to do before I go and do it.
That makes sense.
I think that's a mature view on it. I think I commend her a lot for that because I was just in like an Uber ride with somebody and like my driver and I were talking about it, and she was straight up just like, I know I wouldn't be able to do that. Like I would not be able to follow up with it and blah, blah, blah. And I commend people for not immediately being like, yes, let's do this. It's easy, blah, blah, blah. But we'll see that's kind of Alana's view anyways. So.
Sense. I mean, but what led you to weighing this as an option?
Mainly because I know for a fact I could get in the gym, and I know for a fact I could diet, and I know for a fact I can do this.
Have
to
you
lose
been
my
doing
weight.
those things?
I have tried. I will say I have tried. But the one thing with me is I have no motivation. I have no motivation to just keep going to the gym every day. I have no motivation to keep eating healthy because, like, I'm gonna eat what I think is good. I'm not gonna sit here and force myself to eat no Caesar salad because I think.
Okay, but like,
I'm not here for the Caesar salad slander also, but like whatever.
yeah. Also, the motivation aspect,
Yeah.
it's you need the same amount, if not more, motivation for a procedure like that.
Yeah. I
long
think
term.
it should be stated like right now, she's a child. She's 16 years old. She's under the age of 18. She is a child. When I was 16, I always viewed weight loss as something that I knew I should do, and that I was like, oh, I'm trying to do this, blah, blah, blah. Like I was not serious about it. And like, because I was a kid, like my parents tried to help me. I didn't want their help, like, and all this kind of stuff. And so I think this is a child talking about a very big life-changing procedure, and I know her family life and like her parental life is not hasn't been ideal, and so for me it's like where are the parents? But she's kind of not lucky in that regard, I guess, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. I think it's sad that she's been given this like idea and that she's only seeing it as an easy thing, because she is a kid. Like she's a kid. If I were to make this kind of decision at 16, I probably would think the same thing, to be completely honest. But I do agree that like you should be having more honest conversations with like doctors and people. Like she mentioned she knew someone who had it. I do think you should be having more honest conversations even at 16 about that, like it, because surgery is no joke.
Yeah, I think
but
a lot of what she has to say, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt, because a lot of this is learned behavior and learned ways of thinking. Like if I think back to how I thought about certain topics and conversations when I was 16, all of it was just me regurgitating what I learned in my household and for my family. So we gotta look at it at that lens.
We have to keep that in the back of our minds, because I always try and be as empathetic as possible, and she is a child. So like that's that's a thing. But I do think it is worth having the conversation anyways, because she is a child.
I think it's healthy. No, I'm gonna eat what I think's good.
Yeah.
So I just think I don't have no motivation, and I feel like the surgery would be like probably the easiest way to just like lose it fast.
Okay, but let me just have some girl talk with you. We see what Mama June went through, and she didn't maintain it because she wasn't willing to change her
Jessica
lifestyle.
was also the same way, our older sister.
So are you?
So their older sister, it sounds like, has had weight loss surgery as well and hasn't been able to maintain it because they weren't able to keep up with the post-op kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really all I wanted to show from this clip, because the rest of it, they just talk about like other things. But yeah, so I thought it was really interesting, like hearing it like straight from her mouth, being like, this is the easiest way just to get it off. And when she snapped that, I was like, ugh, I hate when people talk about weight loss surgery like that, because it's just like not that. And if anything, I think this video could probably serve as like a PSA to people thinking weight loss surgery is an easy way out, but it's not. And yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting. And we'll talk about her mom and stuff too. But yeah, so I just found that example of her talking about it, and I wanted to share it here.
Yeah, it's crazy the way it's like she's viewing it like one of those crash diets that you see online that's telling you you're going to drop 20 pounds in a week.
And a lot of people do. Like that's
And then you go through that and you realize that it's not the case. A lot of people end up not only gaining weight back, but more in the long run, because sustainable weight loss is it is a lifestyle. You have to get to the point where you're thinking long term, and I think it's also very difficult for a 16-year-old to have that long-term mindset that's required to have successful sustainable weight loss.
Yeah. And like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad idea for minors like to look into this, so long as there is a parent and or a guardian involved, like every step of the way. Like I think there should be some sort of like requirement that a parent or whatever have to be there with you throughout all of this. And there might be, like, I'm sure there is, because like I had the other stuff that I went through when I was younger, like my parents had to be there with me through it all. But with this, there should be such a strong or such a big prep for it with kids, like, because there's a big prep for it with adults, and adults still fail. So like I had to go through 6 months of weight management, like a weight management program with a doctor and a bariatric program and stuff. And I had to lose 30% of my body weight before I would get approved for surgery. And that was mainly through insurance, but it was also for my clinic as well, because like they told me about people who had gained weight and they like pushed their surgery because they were like, you're not ready for this yet. And these were adults. And I think I was like one of the youngest people in my program, like at the time, because everybody else was like 40 and above, and I was 21. And I just worry for her. I do, like I said, I commend her for worrying about it, like just as a procedure, because it is scary. But like you said, I don't think she knows what's going to come afterwards. And I think that's something that somebody should be talking to her about. And it's even more than just gaining the weight back, possibly. Like, more stuff comes with this. Yeah.
I know you said like having parental support, but I would go as far to say she needs that. She needs the support of a dietitian, and she needs the support of a therapist. Like a very well-rounded approach to make sure not only her mind, her body, everything aligns.
Yeah.
So that she can make the educated decision that's going to be right for her, which
yeah, and that's like the sad thing about bariatric programs as a whole is like not all of them require that kind of stuff. Like for me, I had to have that. Like I had to go to an obesity sciences doctor who like then cleared me for surgery. I had to talk to a surgeon's PA who then cleared me for surgery. I had to have a psychological assessment to get cleared for surgery, like all of this kind of stuff. And that was program specific. And part of me worries too, because I had to go through that, but then I knew somebody who went through the same program who like didn't have to because their insurance was different. Yeah, I did have to have all those things, but it's not always required. And I don't know if it is different for kids, but I would hope it would be. But also part of me, and we kind of talked about this before we recorded this, but like part of me worries that like her money would be able to like fast track everything. And so there's a lot of varying factors that make this really scary to me, both her opinion of it or her attitude towards it and the privileges that she could have going into it to make her bypass certain things that like other people have to go through like for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It could turn into a very impulsive or rash decision, even though like it's so weird because she ended up contradicting herself pretty much in that 1 minute and a half.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know until it happens and until she decides to go through with it. And
it's in July, so I don't know if she's even honey boo boo weight loss surgery. I don't think she's had it yet.
Maybe she was going through a program. That would be
great. Yeah, saying that this procedure is like $13,000, which adds up. And the thing is like all these sources are like from E saying like, yes, she's having it. So like, who knows? E is saying that her manager says that she's having it done next month. And that would have been in August. And it says Alana has been losing weight for months now and wants to do the procedure because she thinks it will help her lose more and keep it off. And she won't be going through the experience alone. Alana's manager told E that the reality star and her boyfriend who's 20 are getting it done together. Isn't she 16?
Okay.
I'm not even going to get into that now. I definitely have heard of couples doing it together and being very successful, but not a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of an update.
That's kind of an update.
The one thing that like really stuck out to me in that short interview was the way she was describing food and like, I'm going to eat what tastes good and what feels good to me. But we have to look at the big picture here and what her diet looks like overall, because when going through a procedure like this, you are going to be faced with some nutrient deficiencies.
Oh, yeah.
And without proper supplementation and a proper diet, that will really maximize the nutrient density in your foods. She's going to be faced with a lot more hardship that way than if she were to have taken, a slight calorie deficit over a long period.
And that's the thing too, is like, I am a firm believer, and I've said this in other videos of me talking about this. I am a firm believer that weight loss surgery should be your absolute last ditch resort. Like it should be like, I personally think it should be, you're on the verge of having health issues, like actual documented health issues. because of your weight, and like not just your weight being a health issue, but like having things caused by it. Like for me, I was pre-diabetic and my liver like was on the verge of like not functioning properly. And so that scared the shit out of me enough to be like, oh, something has to change here, whatever. And I think that should be what it should take to get weight loss surgery, mentally at least, because I had done everything that I could possibly do. Like I even went to a diet, like a nutrition and fitness kind of program thing for teens at my doctor's office, and that didn't stick for whatever reason. I think it was just because we went like right before school started, and so then it was like I just got busy with school and whatever. But I had tried like everything, like Weight Watchers, just doing it on my own, working out with trainers, all this stuff, and for whatever reason it didn't stick. And I think it's normal for it not to stick as a kid because you're a kid, you know. And like I think it's becoming more common, unfortunately, but when we were like kids, it wasn't as common for people to be bigger. And so I was surrounded by like my friends who could just eat whatever they wanted and like not have to worry about it and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I just want to do that. And so I just like didn't want to stick to anything. And so I think it's common to not stick to things as a kid. So I think you need some time in adulthood to like actually try too, which I did, and things didn't stick as well. And so I think instead of being an last ditch effort, instead of it being a last ditch effort, I worry for Alana that it's more of just like an easy way out, like she said, and for aesthetic purposes.
Yes.
Because I didn't play it in that clip, but she does say like, I don't want to be super skinny. Okay. Zoom decided to be dumb and start monetizing just two people talking to each other. So to cheat that system, we just started a new meeting. So it gave us a chance to pee, and we're back. Anyways, okay, so I was talking about in the clip that I just showed you, that I was worried about her doing this purely because she thinks it's fast. And I would venture a guess that it is for aesthetic purposes as well. In the video, I didn't play this part, but she talks about how like she doesn't want to be super skinny, which I think is hilarious because that's something that like every fat person says when they start losing weight. They're like, I don't want to be really thin. Like, that's not what I want. I'm just like, what? First of all, what? Like, why does that matter? Secondly, I just think it's hilarious when people say that. So I just wanted to point that out. I would not be surprised with her growing up in pageantry, which I have a whole separate, I could make a whole video on that, on child beauty pageants, because yowza.
Let her know in the comments if you want to see that.
If you want me to make a video on child beauty pageants, please let me know, because I did an entire persuasive essay / presentation in my sophomore year of high school on child beauty pageants, and I got a standing ovation from my English teacher. So if you want me to make that video, let me know, because I am more than willing. I am ready and willing to make that video. Anyways, I have no doubt in my mind that her growing up in pageantry is contributing to her wanting to lose weight easily. Because it took me a long time and I'm a very self-aware person. I've always been a super self-aware kid. Like ever growing up, I was just always very aware of how I was feeling and whatever. And it took me a long time to finally start feeling my weight and like the effects that it was having on my body. And I have a really hard time believing that she's feeling those right now, because she is 16, and like you're still capable of a lot of things when you're 16, regardless of what size you are. And so I would venture a guess, and this is just speculation, that she is doing it almost solely for aesthetic purposes and not health reasons.
Well, I can totally agree with you there, just because of how nonchalant she was about it. And the fact that she continued to say, I don't have a motivation. And that happens because it is extremely difficult to pull motivation when you're doing any type of weight loss just for aesthetic purposes. It is very hard to get like that deep inner feeling and understand that like really core feeling, why am I doing this? And that's what a lot of people end up struggling with, is because a lot of people will approach weight loss with a different intention, like aesthetics, which is really surface level at the end of the day. And she definitely, like at 16, probably isn't experiencing what that
was all I cared about, to be honest. Like when I started like even thinking about losing weight when I was younger, not when I was thinking about having weight loss surgery, but when I was younger, all I cared about was I wanted to be thin. Like I wanted to be skinnier. Because I wanted to be able to wear the clothes. Like I wanted to be able to wear the clothes I wanted to wear. Like I wanted to be able to do this and that and the other thing. It wasn't, I want to be able to move better or easier. I don't want to be pre-diabetic anymore. It wasn't any of that. It was purely for like aesthetic purposes. And which is normal when you're a 16-year-old girl. Like that's just it's the society we live in. It's the society that we live in. Like that's just normal. And so I just worry for her. Like I'm genuinely concerned for her with this, because like it's been proven that like her mom isn't the most reliable character in her life. And she's on the mend now, it looks like. She lost 300 pounds with weight loss surgery, which I think is incredible. And she has gained 60 pounds of it back as of like a year ago, I think. But like in the grand scheme of things, she still lost 240 pounds. Like that's not anything to like shake a stick at, you know? And also her weight gain, she said, did kind of come after she went to rehab and got clean. Which is also normal. So I am not really looking down on her for that, but I'll have a video link down below that I found when I was like researching her like success. And like I was telling you about this before we started filming, but she was making her partner like she's like, do you want a smoothie? And it was like an ice cream milkshake with like whipped cream and sprinkles and stuff in it. And she's like, oh, I get my protein from the sprinkles. I'm like, okay, ma'am. And she's like
sugar.
And she's like drinking like cherry syrup like out of the bottle. And so I'm like, okay, I commend you for doing what you've done and like getting healthier and getting sober, which in itself is an amazing accomplishment. But have you like learned anything? Because like if I did that, if I drank, and I can eat pretty much anything now. Like I'm 4 years out from my surgery. I can eat anything. If I drank syrup out of the bottle, I would be dead. Like I would not survive. I would get so sick, but it's different from person to person also. But yeah, and she was very nonchalant about the 60 pounds that she gained.
But I think it's really interesting that you brought up that 4 years out now, you can pretty much eat anything. And I think that's also really important to bring up about Alana, and the fact that she was saying in that interview that she wants to eat what she wants to eat. And that also means in the portions she wants to eat them.
Yep.
And I can't imagine the emotional turmoil she would potentially go through after weight loss surgery.
Also a very real thing. And I tell people that who like ask me about my experience with weight loss surgery is that, you know, it was the right thing to do, especially if you go about it like the correct way, what I deem to be the correct way, like the long way, the way that takes you like 7 months to finally get it. You know, it was the right thing to do. But everybody that you will talk to who has had weight loss surgery, regardless of their experience and how successful they've been with it, will say that they had buyer's remorse for at least like a couple weeks after surgery, because it is such a big adjustment, like not being able to eat food because you're not. And I don't know, I pulled up a Mayo Clinic article on the surgery that she's actually having done, because like I don't know, it's really similar to VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy, what I had done. Okay, so I went to Mayo Clinic because Mayo Clinic seems to be the most reliable resource for me. But they're saying that like it's a it's a newer type of weight loss procedure. I had never heard of it before, so it must be like new.
Definitely, because I haven't either. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
brought up in my studies at
Yeah.
all.
It says that an endoscopic, I'm not even
Endoscopic.
what endoscopic. Thank you, because I keep thinking of like endoscopy, like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty is a suturing device is inserted into your throat and down into your stomach. The endoscopist then places sutures in your stomach to make it smaller. The procedure may be an option if you're significantly overweight, a body mass index of 30 or more, and diet and exercise haven't worked for you. So they put sutures in your stomach. So it doesn't sound like they actually like remove anything.
Okay.
Because for me, I had VSG, so they stick a tube down your throat, like into your stomach, and they cut around the tube, and it's like roughly the size of a banana. And then they like suture up the cut, obviously.
But notice it says there you need to make permanent healthy changes to your diet
Yep.
to get regular exercise to help ensure the long-term success. That's going to be with any surgery, any weight loss surgery, and that's something that
I always equate weight loss surgery to like hiring a trainer. Like it's like the same kind of tool. Easy for a while, like you have like a year-long grace period, and then that's pretty much it. Like that's all you get to make it easy. And then after that, it starts getting easier to put weight back on. And it's basically just like you're losing weight normally again, which is what I'm experiencing right now. So, which is extremely frustrating as well. And I am a 26-year-old person. So endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty is available to people whose body mass index is 30 or above, who haven't been successful in maintaining weight loss with lifestyle modification alone, or who don't qualify or wish to pursue traditional bariatric surgery. So that's interesting.
Very.
Okay, so you have to go through a screening. So that's good. And you must be willing to commit to a healthy lifestyle change, regular medical follow-up, and participate in behavioral therapy. So that's good.
Yes.
But this is at Mayo Clinic. I feel like this is from the perspective of if you were to have it done at Mayo Clinic as well.
True. Yeah.
So, and Mayo Clinic's like God tier medicine. So my mom went to Mayo Clinic a few times. They're great there. It's like next level medicine. So obviously they'll like want to do that. Okay. And it's not covered by most health insurance. So you're going to be paying for it out of pocket.
But doesn't seem like it'll matter too much for them based off.
No.
I can assume
we were talking. Yeah. Cause like they have reality TV shows still. So.
Wow. It's been, cause I remember watching.
Me too.
Walk that stage when I was 10.
Like 10. Yeah. Honey Boo Boo was definitely very much a figure when I did my presentation my sophomore year of high school. So, and I was like 14, 15. So yeah. So it's saying that it has a favorable safety profile, which is good. Pain and nausea may occur for several days after the procedure. These symptoms are usually managed with pain and nausea medications. That's normal. I had to use those. Okay, so it says, even though it's not designed to be a temporary procedure, endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty can be converted into another bariatric surgery. So I'm wondering if they would then go in and just cut.
Yeah.
And remove, like, and then do a full vertical sleeve gastrectomy like I had. Okay, so it's saying that you may have to go through like all the things that I did. I just want to know. Okay.
Here we go. This is the important stuff, especially.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds similar to what I had to do, which makes sense because they're sectioning off like the same section of your stomach. It said like 60 to 80% of the stomach, which is what his VSG is. It's saying after the procedure, you generally won't be allowed to eat for a few hours. Then you'll be allowed to start a liquid diet, which you need to continue for at least 2 weeks. For mine, it was 2 weeks, but I know for some, their liquid diet is like 3 to 4 weeks, which is, I would go cuckoo banana. I went nuts enough on the 2-week one.
I can't imagine.
It's a lot.
It's hard. It is.
It's a lot. And I was 22. So yeah. And then it says, eventually you'll move on to semi-solid foods and then to a regular healthy diet. It's saying that you expect to lose about 12% to 20% of his or her body weight in 1 year. Interesting.
Does that sound like a lot to you or
no? That sounds like not a lot to me. Yeah. That's
It
hard.
depends on whether someone is 300 pounds, 400
That's what I'm
pounds.
saying. I think I said I was required to lose 30%. I was required to lose 10% of my body weight in my program before I had
Yeah,
surgery.
that definitely makes more sense
Yeah.
than 30.
Yes. And I lost, which would have been 30 pounds, which is why I like, got confused. I wound up losing 40 pounds before surgery. And honestly, that like before section of surgery like prepared me for the surgery, which is why I think it should be mandatory for Honey Boo Boo to go through that, or anybody really to have to go through that, because it completely like flips your relationship with food. I just wanted to look into that because I was like, I'm speaking about it from my experience with my surgery, but it's not the same that she's looking at getting. So yeah.
I just think it's ironic in a way that she's doing this so she can continue to eat the way she's eating now, which I can't really judge because I have no idea like the quantity and the quality of her diet or anything.
But you can assume.
But based off of the way she's talking about it, and then once she goes through weight loss surgery, the amount of restriction she's
because that's hard. And that's why I got sidetracked and wanted to go see like what the post-op stuff was like for this one, because I didn't know if it was going to be the same. And it looks like it's pretty much the same, maybe not as long, but it's pretty much the same, at least a 2-week liquid diet, which was arguably the hardest part for me. Like I felt like ass during that time. Like I did not feel good. And then I physically like couldn't even drink like a Dixie cup of protein shake for 2 weeks. And like I said, I had gone through this program beforehand, kind of prepping my mind and like changing my relationship with food. And that helped a lot for what I had to experience after. It kind of made me go back to the reset of like food is fuel for a little while, like because you have to do that, because that's how you have to view food for a little bit after weight loss surgery. Like you have to go back to that mindset, because if not, you're going to be miserable. Like and yeah, so I worry about the emotional turmoil that it'll cause on her only being 16, not being able to eat how she used to before she got put under anesthesia.
And she's still growing. She's still developing. She needs, in a sense, she does need calories to allow her body to continue to grow healthfully, but she also needs those micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, which based off of her diet now, you don't know. She could be eating a lot of those heavier carbs where they're not as nutrient dense. They don't have as many vitamins and minerals. And so she could very well already be experiencing some nutrient deficiencies now. And then this is what happens when you get into the hospital and you're put on a liquid diet with the symptoms you're experiencing and the fact that nothing tastes good. It's not enjoyable to eat. So this is when people start to stop eating. This is when malnourishment really rears its head in a clinical setting. And that if you're already not nourished well, especially at 16, and then go through something like this, it is going to be very hard to bounce back.
Yeah. And this could be like something you could speak on too. And you were kind of like touching on this, and like, because a big part of weight loss surgery, unfortunately, is you are malnourished for a really long time. Like you're only eating like maybe 1,000 calories a day for a long time. And that's why people drop the weight so quickly. But like, I think there's something like your body kind of just gets used to that, which is why when you can start eating normal calories again, you don't automatically just like balloon back up to where you used to be, but you are malnourished. Like, and like I lost so much hair like and that a lot of people lose a lot of hair when they lose weight, because you are malnourished. Like you are malnourishing yourself, like pretty much. And so because you're only eating, like I said, like maybe 1,000 calories a day. And so I would imagine that for a 16-year-old would require a lot more supervision to make sure nothing was like going awry because they are still growing and like you need food and fuel to grow.
That's why I am really at a standstill there with like thinking that minors should be allowed to have weight loss surgery because it can have so many health implications down the road and be more damaging than it is helpful. And so you have to weigh the pros and cons. In your situation, absolutely the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, I was
for her,
22, like I was pretty much fully grown. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For someone who is 16 and what we were looking at trying to find age required to pursue weight loss surgery. And one of the sources we looked at said 14.
Yeah.
Which is
personally from my own experience, I think for it to be that low, it has to be like a life or death situation. Like, but also I can look at it from the perspective of I had really supportive parents throughout mine. And so like, I think with the right and a support system's required, or I think is required, it's not medically required, but I think it should be like a good support system is like required or like crucial to having success in this. And so like, I think like for minors, that's even more important. I don't think, because I tell people all the time that my weight loss surgery got me my life back. Like it got me my life back. It 100%. And my life hadn't even started yet. And so like whenever I see like super morbidly obese kids and teenagers and stuff, I feel sad for them because like I didn't realize how much I didn't really get to live until I started getting healthier, because my weight held me back both physically and mentally more than I ever really thought it did. And so I do think that it could be a viable option for kids. I think 16 would be a good starting point there because like that's like you're closer to being 18. Like I think 16 is a good midpoint. I think anything lower than that should be like I said, like life or death kind of. But I think in terms of getting their life back mentally and everything like that, I do think in the long term, it would really behoove like 16-year-olds who want to get it and are understanding of the ramifications and the entire process of it. I think it would like be good for them to get it. But that all being said, all of this like is me saying it needs to be really well supervised. Like it needs to be really well supervised. It's a tough subject because like it is such a big decision and something that affects you for the rest of your life. I think even if you gain the weight back, it affects you for the rest of your life, like.
Also, I think because, and tell me if I'm wrong, but because of the reason you went for it being so health and like wanting to do all of that factor really helped it be like transformative for you. Whereas,
like that.
I feel like a 16-year-old going through that would have to really understand like how it is affecting their health, like especially if they have comorbidities. But for someone like Honey Boo Boo, who is really, from what we can assume, going based off of aesthetics and just not wanting to do more, then.
And I did say that earlier that like 16-year-old me did not see my weight as like a thing that was affecting my health. It was just affecting my looks. Like that was, And so I did say that earlier. So I guess maybe not, but I think it's very situational in terms of that. But in Honey Boo Boo's case, I would not be surprised if it was all to do with aesthetics and nothing else. And probably the pressures of having people tell her whole life that she needs to lose weight, because that weighs on a person. No pun intended. That weighs on a person. Like it's not a fun mental space to be in. Like knowing that like something is I don't want to say wrong with you, but knowing that certain people think something is wrong with you because that's what you've been told your entire life is something that weighs on you mentally a lot. I speak from experience, but I think especially with her history and pageantry, I feel like it's a lot of aesthetics and wanting to be skinny.
Being in the public eye in general at that age, like not
Oh,
only was she doing pageants, but it was being
she was,
broadcasted
yeah.
to millions and millions of people.
And she was being made fun of because of her weight at the age of like 10, like by people who are watching the show, which is gross. So I honestly can't blame her either for like wanting to go this route. Like at that point, even if it is for aesthetics, I think 16-year-old me would have been like, I'm over this, dude. Like, I'm over it. My mom had this done. Like, legally, I can have it done too. So why shouldn't I? Like, that would be the boom, boom, boom kind of thought process of me getting it at that age, I think. I think it'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
Maybe we'll end up doing a follow-up. Maybe
Maybe.
things will progress.
I wish nothing but the best for Honey Boo Boo. Like Honey Boo Boo was not dealt the best deck of cards. And so I feel like she's kind of doing the best with what she can. Cause like there's been a lot of drama with her family. Like, and it's nuts. And I feel like she's kind of been in the middle of it. So you can't tell me that has nothing to do with like anything, you know. But like it's a big decision. It's a very big decision that should be very well monitored, in my opinion.
I'm a huge nerd when it comes to like how the body is working through everything. So I encourage people who are interested in looking up the way that certain vitamins and minerals and nutrients, like macronutrients, everything are absorbed throughout the GI tract, because you know that goes from our mouth to our bum holes. There's a lot going on in there, and removing certain parts of the GI tract, whether it's through weight loss surgery, a short bowel resection, like there's so many surgeries that can take away someone's ability to absorb certain things. So there are charts online. It's what I used to study for my exam, where it'll show you these are the nutrients that are absorbed in the stomach. This is what's absorbed in the small intestine, large intestine. And you can really see there, like this paints a good picture of the implications of like what's being taken away and what's going to have to adapt with something like this. So for anyone that needs like a visual, you might be able to, if you find something like when
I can plop it up on the screen. Yeah,
especially because I was talking about the nutrient deficiencies a little
earlier.
Bit before.
Yeah, but I can attest to that because I have to take these very expensive things for the rest of my life. So
that was one other thing that we didn't talk about that we talked about before, was that the fact that you're going to have to take supplements after the surgery, and how you already like it's hard to remember to keep up with things like that, especially at a young
I'm horrible
age.
at taking these. I'm horrible at taking them. Like I remember to take all my other meds, but those for some reason it's like nope. And I keep them right in front of my face. And they also don't make me feel very good. So I think that's why, but it's my only option. So, which is another mental thing that like you have to get used to, you know, is like some things that you have to do aren't going to make your stomach feel very good anymore. And that's not very fun. Like even taking antibiotics for me sometimes makes me feel sick now. Like, and that's just a thing with weight loss surgery and having a weird stomach, is that your stomach has thoughts and feelings again, or like now. So like you have to be mindful of that. And I do worry with the type of surgery, with it just being sutures, I'd be worried that she'd like break a suture or something.
Yeah.
I like not eating correctly, because I think even people on my 600-pound life have done that. Like they've definitely stretched their stomachs back out. So that's something to think about too.
The body adapts. The cells divide, things change. And it is crazy to think about like what would end up happening long term with
if she wasn't
surgery like that.
Yeah. There's not a lot of research on the one I had even done like long term. So like who knows? And yeah, I don't know. I would just be worried that if she wasn't fully committed to it, that she'd break a suture, because it's not like fully cut, you know.
So much to think about.
There's so much to think about. Like, holy crap.
I hope she's thinking about these things though.
I don't think she is, and that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I don't think anybody's telling her to think about these things because
Well, we are right now.
honey boo boo,
If you're watching this, please think about
please
what
think
we talked
about these things. I know you want it real bad.
You're doing
I was
great.
fat. I still am fat. I get it. Like, it's hard sometimes, but you got to think about these things. Like, you gotta, like, it's hard. And like, I know it seems like rainbows and unicorns all the time, but it's not. Like, it's not. And yeah, there's a lot to think about. And honey boo boo, if you're watching this and you want to talk about it, DM me on Instagram, ma'am. I'll talk to you about weight loss surgery. I don't care. I think you're great. So
If you need a dietitian, I'm here too.
Marissa's your girl. I'm going to start
We're your
working with her
support
next
system.
month. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll be your support system. Why not?
right.
I'm always down to be a support system for somebody. So yeah, honey boo boo, on the off chance that you are seeing this, we just want to help you.
Whoever's watching this, share this video.
Get into honey boo boo.
It'll somehow work its way up the
Oh my God,
grapevine.
could you imagine?
Making history here.
We become honey boo boo's best friends now. Oh my
Oh
God,
my gosh.
what a life.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
I think that's a good ending.
I think that's a great
Very long
ending.
video.
Marissa, thank you so much for wanting to do this video and for poking me to finally do this video. And this was a great angle to add on to it too. I will have all of your stuff linked down below. Where can people find you just right now?
TikTok is Marissa CPT. My YouTube is my first and my last name, Marissa Arnone, and my Instagram is also my first name, last name, Marissa.Arnone. They're all different.
Cool.
They should all be the same. They're not. It's whatever.
It happens. And she has helped me a lot without even knowing it. Like, I have so many of your like mobility, like lifting warm-up things saved on my phone for when I go to the gym.
Amazing.
And I'm going to start working with you next month as my dietitian. So
Yes, and I'm taking clients all the time.
yes. So that'll be great. And yeah, I'll have all your stuff linked down below. This has been a great conversation.
We should have
Thank you.
more.
Yes. I am wanting to start doing reactions to like fitness cringe on TikTok, and I think you'd be a good person to consult for that because I don't have like
Absolutely.
technical reasoning why things are dumb. I just know that they're dumb. Like, that's yeah.
I'm all on board for that.
Cool. All right, I'm going to do my outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks again to Marissa for being here. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this whole thing because it's a very nuanced conversation for sure. I love you all so much. Drink your water, take your meds, and I will see you all in the next one. Okay, we're about to cut off. Bye.
Bye.